I won $6 million in the lottery and thought I could finally celebrate with my daughter. But the waiter whispered, "Sir, I think I saw your daughter put something in your coffee." I went back to the table and switched our cups. Before we continue, please subscribe to the channel and let us know where you were listening in the comments. The Powerball numbers glowed on my laptop screen. I read them twice, 3 times. My hands started trembling as I lifted the ticket from my desk, holding it up to compare. Every single number matched. $6 million. I set the ticket down carefully, photographed it from 4 different angles, then locked it inside my antique medical kit, a Victorian-era beauty I'd picked up at an estate sale 30 years ago. The brass clasp clicked shut with satisfying finality. My phone started buzzing before I'd even poured the celebratory whiskey. I glanced at the screen. Fern, then again, and again. 17 missed calls in 10 minutes. I stared at her name flashing on the screen like an accusation. 8 months, not a word in 8 months, and suddenly my phone wouldn't stop ringing. I poured the whiskey anyway. Let it ring. On call number 23, I finally picked up. "Dad, oh my God, Dad, I just saw..." "Fern?" I pulled the phone away, checked the screen like it might be lying to me. "You won! The lottery! It's all over the news. $6 million. I can't believe..." "How did you..." "We need to celebrate. Today. Right now. Where are you?" "I'm already in the car." "Fern, I just found out myself 20 minutes. Barista Cafe. You love that place. 2 o'clock. I'm leaving now." The line went dead. I stood there holding the phone, listening to the dial tone that wasn't there anymore. My daughter. The one who'd asked to borrow my car 3 years ago and returned it on empty. The one who needed temporary help with rent. Temporary meaning I never saw that money again. That daughter just saw lottery news and suddenly remembered where I like to get coffee. I drove to the Pearl District anyway. Traffic was light for a Saturday. The Victorian houses of my neighborhood gave way to the converted warehouses and boutiques of Northwest Portland. I found parking on 13th Avenue, fed the meter, walked into Barista Cafe at 2:14 p.m. Fern was already there. She spotted me immediately, jumped up, threw her arms around me like we were in a Hallmark movie. Last time she hugged me like that, she'd needed $5,000 for emergency home repairs. The emergency turned out to be a trip to Cabo. "You look amazing, Dad. Have you lost weight?" Her smile was too bright. Magazine cover, bright. "Same as always. Here, I ordered your favorite, double espresso, extra hot." She pushed the cup toward me. "Drink it before it gets cold." I wrapped my hands around it but didn't lift it. The ceramic was warm against my palms. "You said you were in Seattle for work." Got back last night." Another push of the cup. Small movement but insistent. "Dad, seriously drink. It's getting cold." I'm savoring the moment. Her eye twitched. Just once. The left one. I needed the bathroom. Age does that. Makes you need bathrooms at inconvenient times. I excused myself, navigated through the Saturday afternoon crowd. The restroom was single occupancy, which gave me a moment to think, to breathe, to wonder why my daughter was so insistent about me drinking that particular cup of coffee. When I came out, a kid appeared at my elbow, early 20s, name tag reading Trevor. "Mr. Garrett?" A whisper, eyes darting toward our table. "From the Portland State Lectures?" "Yes." His voice dropped even lower. I think I saw your daughter put something in your coffee. Small bottle, maybe medication. But she looked..." He swallowed hard. Looked around first, like she didn't want anyone to see. My chest went cold. Everything went cold. "You're sure?" "I'm a Tox student. I notice these things. I could be wrong, but..." "Thank you, Trevor." I walked back to the table. 30 years of measuring compounds with precision had taught my hands to be steady. I sat down, reached for my coffee, and knocked the napkin holder with my elbow. It hit the floor with a crash that made half the cafe jump. Perfect. Nothing like mild chaos to cover a cup swap. Fern bent down to help gather the scattered napkins. My hands moved fast. Left cup to right position, right cup to left. When she straightened up, my coffee sat exactly where hers had been. "Clumsy today," I smiled at her. "Must be the excitement." She smiled back. Picked up her cup, my cup, and took a long drink. "To your win, Dad." I raised mine. Didn't drink, just watched. 5 minutes later, her face went pale. The color just drained away like someone had opened a valve. Her hand flew to her throat. She tried to stand, and the table lurched forward. Coffee everywhere. Then she was vomiting. Her body convulsed. She hit the floor hard. I knelt beside her, checked her pulse with 2 fingers on her wrist. Steady pressure, counting. My voice came out calm when I called 911. Lab voice. The voice I'd used for 30 years when describing symptoms and dosages and effects. My daughter just collapsed, vomiting, convulsions. We're at Barista Cafe on Northwest 13th Avenue. Yes, she's breathing, pulse is rapid but steady. Her purse had spilled across the floor. A small prescription bottle rolled free. I picked it up, read the label before anyone else could see it. Caldwell Pharma Supply. Pierce's company, my son-in-law's company. The paramedics arrived in 7 minutes. They were efficient, professional, asking questions I answered, while watching that bottle disappear into an evidence bag. Watching them load my daughter onto a stretcher. Watching the ambulance doors slam shut. I stood on the sidewalk holding Fern's designer purse, the one that cost more than my first car. The sirens faded down 13th Avenue toward the hospital. For 30 years, I'd studied poisons, taught toxicology, measured lethal doses and documented symptoms. I'd always been the expert, the one in control, the one who knew exactly what each compound would do. I'd never been the target before. The prescription bottle had 3 words on it, 3 words that told me everything I needed to know. Caldwell Pharma Supply, Pierce's company, my daughter's husband's company. They'd tried to poison me. They'd tried to poison me for $6 million. And they'd underestimated 2 things. First, that my daughter couldn't hold her coffee any better than she could hold her liquor. Second, that toxicology students pay attention. I pulled out my phone, took one more look at the cafe. Trevor was watching me through the window, his face pale. I nodded once. He nodded back. Then I got in my car and followed the ambulance to Providence Portland Medical Center. The ER waiting room smelled like disinfectant and burnt coffee. I sat in a plastic chair designed by someone who hated comfort, hands folded in my lap, watching. Nurses moved with practiced efficiency. A kid with a broken arm sat across from me, his mother filling out forms. Everything normal, everything wrong. My phone buzzed. Pierce. I let it go to voicemail. It buzzed again and again. On the 4th call, I turned it face down on my knee. The ER doctor found me 20 minutes later. She wore blue scrubs and tired eyes. "Mr. Garrett, your daughter's blood work shows..." "Is she alive?" My voice came out steady. Lab voice. "Yes. Stable now. But we found high levels of zolpidem and cyclobenzaprine in her system. That's Ambien and a muscle relaxant." I nodded slowly. "Dangerous combination." Her eyebrows rose. "You're familiar with..." "I'm a retired toxicologist." Something shifted in her expression, calculation happening behind those eyes. Professional curiosity mixed with something else. Suspicion, maybe. "I see. Did your daughter have prescriptions for these medications?" "Not that I know of." "Mr. Garrett, in your professional opinion, what would that combination do to someone?" I met her gaze, held it. "In the right doses, put them to sleep. In the wrong doses, stop them from waking up." She wrote something on her clipboard, clicked her pen twice. "The police will want to speak with you." I assumed they would. She left. I went back to watching. Nurses, visitors. The broken-armed kid getting called back for x-rays. And then Pierce burst through the automatic doors like a soap opera actor who just learned his wife was pregnant with his evil twin's baby. His suit was expensive, Tom Ford or something close. The tie was loosened just enough to look disheveled. His shoes clicked against the linoleum floor as he crossed the waiting room in 8 long strides. He grabbed both my shoulders, hard, fingers digging in through my cardigan. "What the hell did you do?" I blinked up at him, let my mouth hang open slightly. We were having coffee. You confused her with someone else, didn't you? Gave her the wrong thing? Jesus, you're losing it." "Wrong thing?" I made my voice quaver just a bit. Not too much, just enough. "We just had coffee. She ordered it herself." "Don't give me that. Fern told me you've been forgetting things, mixing things up. This is exactly what we were worried about." He turned to the nurse at the station. "My father-in-law has been showing signs of dementia. We've been concerned." The nurse wrote something down. Pierce squeezed my shoulders again. Harder this time. The pressure would leave marks. It's okay, Hosea. We'll get you help. I nodded weakly, cataloged the pressure of his fingers. The threat in his voice masked as concern. The way his left hand went to his collar when he lied. That little tug. He'd done it twice already. The police arrived 15 minutes later. Detective Marcus Webb, 50-something, methodical, carrying a notebook that looked like it had survived 3 previous investigations. Mr. Garrett, I need to ask you some questions. Pierce started to follow us into the consultation room. The detective held up one hand. Just Mr. Garrett, please. The room was small. 2 chairs, a table, fluorescent lights that hummed. Detective Webb sat across from me, opened his notebook. When did you last see your daughter before today? 8 months ago, maybe 9. I rubbed my temples like it hurt to remember. She's been busy. But she called you today? 2 hours after I won the lottery. Saw it on the news, she said. His pen paused mid-stroke. He looked up. She saw the news about your lottery win and called you immediately? Within 2 hours. Wanted to celebrate right away. I looked up at him. Is that important? Just gathering information, sir? Had she called you at all in those 8 months? No, not once. But today she wanted to celebrate? That's what she said. He wrote for 30 seconds straight. I could see the wheels turning, could see him building the timeline in his head. Distant daughter, sudden lottery win, immediate contact, poisoning. Thank you, Mr. Garrett. We'll be in touch. I went back to the waiting room, slumped in my chair, closed my eyes halfway but kept watching through my lashes. Pierce was on his phone, pacing near the windows. Then he stopped, looked around, walked over to a security guard standing by the entrance. I couldn't hear the words, but I watched. Watched Pierce's hand go into his jacket pocket. Watched him pull out something, paper maybe, or a card. Watched the handshake that lasted too long. Watched the security guard nod. The father-in-law's struggling, you understand? Not asking you to do anything improper. Just, if anyone asks questions, you saw him looking confused earlier, that's all. That's true, isn't it? He looked confused. Silence. Then a lower voice. I suppose he did seem a bit... Exactly, here, for your time. Rustle of paper, crisp and new. And my card. Caldwell Pharma always takes care of people who help us out. Footsteps moved away. I stayed slumped, played the confused old man, while my phone, positioned carefully in my hand, camera active, captured 3 perfect photos of the evidence bag sitting on the nurse's station, the prescription bottle, the label, the Caldwell Pharma codes. They discharged Fern at 6:30, stable, under observation. Pierce stayed, I left. The drive home took 15 minutes. Traffic was building for Saturday evening. I parked in my driveway, walked up the Victorian steps, unlocked my door. Everything looked exactly the same. Everything felt completely different. I went straight to my office, spread the photos across my desk, pulled out my magnifying glass, the one I'd used for examining botanical specimens back when I still taught. The pharmaceutical codes on that bottle were clear, batch numbers, distribution codes. I opened my laptop, pulled up my old contacts database, former colleagues from Portland State, pharmaceutical reps I'd worked with on research projects, 3 decades of professional connections. My phone buzzed. Video call. Alonzo's face filled the screen. It was 9 a.m. in New Zealand. He'd be at the Marine Research Station, probably drinking terrible instant coffee. Dad, it's 9 a.m. here. I just saw your message. What happened? My voice cracked. Real emotion this time, not performance. Fern's in the hospital. Jesus, is she okay? Are you okay? I'm fine. She's stable. What happened? I looked at my desk, the photos, the poison bottles lined up on their shelf behind me. Long story. Do you need me to come home? I can get a flight tonight. No, stay there. Your grant... Screw the grant. You're more important than studying fish. I smiled despite everything, despite the exhaustion creeping into my bones and the anger burning in my chest. I'm okay, son. Really? Have you eaten? Are you sleeping? Do you need money? I won $6 million this morning. Silence. Then Alonzo laughed, that genuine surprised laugh that sounded exactly like his mother's. Holy shit. Seriously? Seriously. His face got serious. Smart kid. Always had been. And somehow Fern ended up in the hospital on the same day? Funny how that works. Dad? What's going on? I'll tell you when I figure it out myself. We talked for another 10 minutes. He made me promise to eat something, made me promise to call if I needed anything, made me promise to keep him updated. When the call ended, I sat staring at the dark screen for a long moment. Then I stood up, walked to my Victorian poison collection. 30 years of specimens, arsenic, cyanide, strychnine, belladonna, each one carefully labeled, properly stored, historically significant. My daughter tried to poison me with sleeping pills. Sleeping pills. If you're going to murder your father, at least show some creativity. I picked up a bottle of econitum, wolfsbane, historical poison of choice for assassins. Causes cardiac arrest within hours. Beautiful blue flowers, deadly roots. I set it back down. I wasn't an assassin, I was a scientist. And scientists don't just kill, we experiment, we document, we prove our hypotheses beyond any reasonable doubt. My phone sat on the desk next to the evidence photos. Pierce's texts were in my deleted folder. I could recover them if needed. The bottle from Fern's purse had Caldwell Pharma codes I could trace to specific batches, specific orders. They'd tried to poison me with enough medication to stop my heart. They'd underestimated two things: my daughter's inability to hold her liquor, or her coffee, and a waiter who paid attention in toxicology class. I opened my laptop, typed, "Private investigators, Portland, Oregon." 43 results. I picked up my phone. The first number on the list rang twice. "Morton Investigations, this is Eula speaking." "Ms. Morton, my name is Hosea Garrett. I need you to find out everything about 3 people. And I mean everything. Bank accounts, debts, affairs, parking tickets, everything." "That's extensive. Can I ask why?" I looked at the photos of the pill bottle spread across my desk, looked at my poison collection, looked at my reflection in the dark window. A 68-year-old man who just discovered his daughter tried to kill him for money. "Because they just tried to kill me," I said, "and I need to know what they're willing to do next." I drove home from the hospital at 6:40 p.m. The streetlights were coming on. Traffic was heavy. Friday evening, people heading to dinner, to bars, to lives where their daughters hadn't tried to poison them. My house looked exactly the same. Victorian architecture, the porch light I always left on, the garden that needed weeding. I parked in the driveway, grabbed my keys from the passenger seat. Wrong hook. I always hung them on the brass hook by the door, second from the left. Muscle memory from 30 years. But they were on the first hook. I stood in my entryway. Listened. Nothing but the refrigerator humming in the kitchen. My office was 12 steps away. I counted them. The poison bottle collection sat on the shelf. Alphabetical order, always alphabetical. Arsenic, atropine, belladonna, cyanide, digitalis. Belladonna was behind cyanide. Someone had moved them. Someone with sweaty palms. The belladonna bottle had fingerprints on glass I'd cleaned 2 days ago. The desk drawer stuck when I pulled it. I never oiled the runners. Liked the slight resistance, the way it reminded me to be careful what I kept there. But now it was sticky. Someone had forced it, left residue. The lottery ticket lockbox was under the floorboard beneath my chair. I rolled the chair back. The board was scraped along one edge, fresh wood showing through the old varnish. They'd found it. Couldn't open it. I had the only key on my keychain, but they'd found it. I sat at my desk, pulled out my phone, scrolled through contacts to the H's, Felix Hammond, retired security consultant. We'd worked together back when pharmaceutical companies needed to secure their research facilities against corporate espionage. He answered on the second ring. "Hosea, everything okay?" "No, can you come over? Bring your equipment." "What kind of equipment?" "The kind that watches people who come into my house when I'm not home." Silence. Then, "Give me 2 hours." He arrived at 8:30, drove a Ford pickup that had seen better decades, carried a worn toolbox that looked like it might contain hardware store supplies. Didn't. We worked in comfortable silence. Felix drilled tiny holes. I fed wires through walls. He mounted cameras, 6 of them, each smaller than a bottle cap, motion-activated, recording to cloud storage. "You gonna tell me what this is about?" He tested the connection on his tablet. "Family trouble. The kind that requires surveillance in your own home?" I handed him the drill. "The kind where my daughter tried to poison me yesterday." His hand stopped mid-reach. "Jesus, Hosea." She's in the hospital? Drank what was meant for me. That's... He set down the drill carefully. That's not family trouble. That's attempted murder. Yes. You call the cops? They think it's an accident. Confused old man, medication mix-up. Felix looked at me hard. 30 years of friendship in that look. We'd survived budget meetings and corporate restructuring, and the time his wife left him and he showed up at my door at 2 a.m. with a bottle of terrible scotch. You're not confused. No, but they think I am, and I need to know what they're planning next. He picked up the drill again, started on the 6th camera. Where do you want this one? We finished at 11. He showed me the app on my phone, how to check the feeds remotely, how to download footage, how the motion alerts worked. Even if they destroy the cameras, footage is safe, he said. Cloud backup. Thank you. He packed his tools, didn't leave. Hosea, you're scaring me. Good, that makes 2 of us. If something happens, all the footage goes to a cloud account. Password is in my safe deposit box. Box 447, First National, downtown. You're still my secondary contact there. He wrote it down, looked at me like he might say something else. Didn't. Just gripped my shoulder once and left. I went to bed. Didn't sleep. The next morning, Saturday, I made coffee, checked the camera feeds, cataloged every bottle in my poison collection, wrote down their exact positions, took photographs. Pierce arrived at 10 a.m. I saw him on the camera before his knock. Expensive car. Expensive suit on a Saturday morning. He carried a white bag and a cardboard coffee carrier. I put on my bathrobe, mussed my hair, answered the door blinking like the light hurt. Hosea, I brought breakfast. Pierce held up the bag like a trophy. And coffee. Thought you might need it after everything. I stared at the coffee. Pierce brought me coffee. The same beverage my daughter had used for attempted murder just 36 hours ago. I looked at it like it might sprout legs. He noticed. It's from Starbucks. I watched them make it. Right. Because no one's ever been poisoned with a venti Americano. I let him in anyway. Took the coffee. Set it on the counter without drinking. Pierce's jaw tightened, but he smiled through it. We sat in my living room. He spread pastries on my coffee table with the care of someone arranging evidence. How are you feeling? Tired. True enough. After such a traumatic event, that's normal. He leaned forward, voice patient, practiced. I wanted to talk to you about some paperwork, just temporary measures to help while you recover. Paperwork? I blinked at him. Power of attorney. It's standard in these situations. He pulled pre-printed documents from his briefcase. Came prepared. After what happened with Fern? Fern? I squinted like I was trying to remember. Is she coming to visit? She's in the hospital, Hosea. Remember? The coffee incident? Oh, yes, the coffee was cold. I picked up my cup from the counter, looked at it like I'd never seen one before. Is this coffee? Pierce's eyes gleamed, just for a second, satisfaction he couldn't quite hide. Yes, that's coffee. But, Hosea, these papers, they're important. They let me handle your finances temporarily, pay your bills, make sure everything's taken care of while you rest. My finances? I squinted at the papers. Do I have finances? His smile widened, just a fraction. You won the lottery, remember? $6 million. I did? I looked around the room like the money might be sitting on my bookshelf. Where is it? In your bank account. That's exactly why we need these papers, to protect it, to protect you. I picked up the pen he offered, let it hover over the signature line, watched Pierce hold his breath, watched his left hand go to his collar, that little tug he did when he was excited. Then I dropped the pen. I need to think about it. My head hurts. The smile cracked. Hosea, this is important. Tomorrow, come back tomorrow. I'll think better tomorrow. He gathered the unsigned papers, jaw tight, hands moving too fast. Of course, tomorrow, you rest. After he left, I poured his coffee down the sink, watched it swirl away. Then I checked the camera footage, watched him arrive, watched him adjust his tie 3 times before knocking, watched him leave, phone already at his ear. Sunday passed, I cleaned, sorted, waited. Monday afternoon at 4:15, the motion alert buzzed. I was reading in my chair, grabbed my phone, opened the camera app, Austin, my grandson, letting himself in with a key, moving like he knew exactly where he was going. I watched him head straight to my office, watched him sit at my computer, pull a USB drive from his pocket, plug it in. The kid spent 23 minutes going through my files. I could see his face in the monitor's reflection, blue glow, hands shaking. He searched my drawers, lifted books, checked behind picture frames. At 4:38, he found the photo. Old one from when he was 7. Both of us in lab coats. I'd had one made child size. We were standing in front of my apothecary collection, both grinning. Austin stared at it for 10 seconds. His hand trembled. Then he put it in his pocket and went back to searching. I sat in my chair watching him ransack my office. This kid I'd taught to measure compounds, who'd asked 1,000 questions about chemistry and toxins and how things worked, who'd spent summer afternoons in this house learning to think like a scientist. He left at 4:43, locked the door behind him, got in his car and drove away. I called his number. Voice came out sharp, cold, no confusion, no tremor. Austin, my house, now. Pause. I could hear his breathing. Grandpa, I know what you did. You have 20 minutes. I hung up, then froze, stared at my phone, whispered, Stupid, stupid. You just told them you're not confused. Austin arrived at 8:20, hoodie, nervous energy, eyes darting around my porch like he expected cameras. He was right to expect them. Grandpa, you wanted to see me? Come in, sit down. He sat on the edge of my couch, ready to run. You were in my house this afternoon. 4:15. His face went white. Mom asked me to check on you. She's worried. While she's in the hospital with mysterious poisoning, she asked you to break into my house. I didn't break in. I have a key. And do what? Search my computer? I was just... He stood up fast. Chair scraped. Are you recording this? Damn, the kid was smarter than I'd thought. Sit down, Austin. You're not confused at all, are you? His eyes narrowed, calculation replacing panic. You're playing some kind of game. Double damn. Austin, Mom said you might get paranoid. She was right. He backed toward the door. I'm telling Dad you threatened me. I didn't threaten, but he was gone. Door slamming, engine starting, taillights disappearing down the street. I sat in the empty room. Well, I said to no one. That went perfectly. My phone rang. Felix. System's running smooth. You can check it remotely. Pause. You okay? I just made a tactical error. What kind? The kind where I forgot to stay in character and revealed I'm not actually senile. Ah, how bad. My grandson now knows I'm aware and watching. He'll tell the others, so they'll be more careful. Or more aggressive. I watch the empty street through my window. Felix? Yeah? If something happens to me, don't talk like that. If something happens, all the camera footage is in that cloud account. You know where the password is. Long silence. Hosea, you're scaring me. Good, that makes 2 of us. I couldn't sleep. The house was too quiet. Every sound was someone breaking in. Every shadow was Austin coming back with his parents. At 2:47 a.m., my phone lit up. Unknown number. Stop digging, old man. You don't know who you're dealing with. I stared at it, took a screenshot, then typed, and you don't know I spent 30 years studying poisons. Let's play. 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. This isn't a game. I smiled without humor, typed, You're right, games have rules. This is chemistry, and chemistry always wins. No response. I turned off my phone, lay in the dark, stared at my poison collection on the shelf. Bottles catching moonlight. They thought they were hunters. They forgot I'd been teaching people about lethal compounds since before they were born. Time to remind them what a real toxicologist could do. Morton Investigations occupied a small building in the Hawthorne district. I arrived at 7 a.m. The door was unlocked. Eula sat at her desk with coffee already brewing. She looked up when I entered, and I saw recognition flash across her face. Not just from the phone call from 15 years ago. Mr. Garrett, she stood, offered her hand. I almost didn't believe it was you. You asked about untraceable poisons. And you said there's no such thing. Everything leaves a trace. She poured 2 cups, black for both. She remembered. Is that what we're looking for? Traces? I need to know why my family tried to kill me. There's a reason beyond $6 million. Find it. She took notes on a yellow legal pad, neat handwriting, questions in the margins. When I finished explaining, she set down her pen. Mr. Garrett, I need to ask, are you looking for justice or revenge? Is there a difference? In court, yes. In my office? She smiled slightly. Not really. I'll have preliminary results in 72 hours. My retainer is $5,000 plus expenses. I slid an envelope across her desk. She didn't open it. One more thing, she said. You taught me to look for patterns. Let's find theirs. I left, feeling like maybe I had an ally. Someone who understood that evidence mattered more than emotion. The next 3 days crawled. I maintained my confused act when Pierce called, checked my cameras obsessively, made lists, crossed them out, started over. Wednesday afternoon, Eula called. My office, now, you need to see this. She'd spread documents across her entire desk. Bank statements, printed emails, loan contracts, each one flagged with colored tabs. Your daughter's in deep. Eula dealt papers like cards. $127,000 to an underground poker network. Started 2 years ago with online casinos, then private games, high stakes. I stared at the numbers. My daughter. Gambling. I'd had no idea. She's good enough to win sometimes, Eula continued. That's the problem. Keeps her coming back. But she also borrowed $40,000 from a loan shark, guy named Torres. He's the leg-breaking kind. And Pierce? Your son-in-law's special. She pulled out another stack. Tried to launch a biotech startup using research from Caldwell Pharma, his own employer. They found out. Building a lawsuit. He's in for $214,000 and the company's dead. He's about to lose his job and face criminal charges. My hands went cold. He needed money fast. Very fast. And then, miracle, his father-in-law wins $6 million. What about Austin? Expelled from Oregon State for running a cheating ring. $45,000 in student loans, no degree, parents cut him off financially. He's trying to launch some cryptocurrency scheme. She looked up. Mr. Garrett, they're not just greedy, they're drowning. Drowning people are dangerous. Exactly. They'll pull down anyone to save themselves. I drove home through evening traffic, stopped at a red light on Burnside, stared at the intersection without seeing it. They weren't evil, they were desperate. That made them more dangerous. At home, I opened my laptop, stared at the screen for 20 minutes. Then I started typing. A letter. Official looking. Legal language I copied from estate planning websites, to my family, informing them I was revising my will, removing all current beneficiaries given recent events. I signed it. Hosea Garrett via Reynolds Law Firm. Read it aloud. Felt satisfaction warm my chest. This would shake them, make them panic, make them make mistakes. I opened Gmail, typed in 3 email addresses, Fern, Pierce, Austin, hovered over send, clicked, closed the laptop, poured whiskey, drank it slowly, watching the city lights through my window. I'd just fired a warning shot. The next morning, Eula called. Her voice was tight. Please tell me you used a VPN and burner email for that lawyer letter. My stomach dropped. The whiskey from last night turned to acid. I used my regular account. Jesus, Hosea. Typing sounds. Fast, angry typing. They can trace that. Pierce works in pharma. He's got connections to tech people. He'll know it came from you, not a lawyer. How bad? You just proved you're not confused or incompetent. But worse, you look paranoid and deceptive, like you're making up stories about them. I set down my coffee. It had gone cold anyway. I was focused on the content, not the delivery. That's what they're counting on. Emotions making you sloppy. More typing. They haven't traced it yet. I'm monitoring. You've got maybe 12 hours before Pierce's tech friend gets back to him. What do I do? Nothing. You can't unsend it. Just be ready. They're going to come at you, and now they know you're aware and planning something. I looked at my reflection in the dark computer screen. I'm an idiot. You're human. There's a difference. But Hosea? No more emails. No more anything without running it past me first. Deal? Deal. I spent the afternoon at Powell's Books. Needed to be somewhere public. Somewhere with people and noise and the smell of coffee and old paper. Somewhere that wasn't my house with its cameras and its ghosts. I was browsing toxicology texts when my tablet buzzed. Motion alert, home. I found a corner, opened the app. all three of them, in my living room. Pierce paced by the window. The email came from his personal account, hosea.garrett1957@gmail.com. My guy traced the IP to this house. Fern sat on my couch. She'd been out of the hospital 2 days, looked pale, thinner. So he's not confused. He's playing us. The whole dementia thing was an act. Austin hunched in my reading chair, the one I'd read to him in when he was small. What do we do? Pierce stopped pacing. We use it. He's paranoid, sending fake lawyer emails, accusing his own family. That's not rational behavior. But what if he has actual evidence? Fern's voice shook. Of what? You drinking coffee? That's not evidence. It's an accident. Pierce pulled out a manila folder. And everything else is covered. I've got medical documentation showing progressive dementia, started 6 months ago. He never saw a doctor 6 months ago. Austin looked up. Dr. Westbrook says he did. I made sure Westbrook's signature is everywhere it needs to be. Fern stood up fast. This is too much. Maybe we should just what? Pierce wheeled on her. Walk away from $6 million while you owe Torres 40 grand, while I'm facing a lawsuit, while your son is a dropout with no future? No, we finish this. How? We confront him, together, show concern, document his paranoid accusations. Austin films everything. Then we file for emergency guardianship. I watched from Powell's books. My hands shook so hard I nearly dropped the tablet. They weren't reacting to my moves. They'd been building this case for months, since before the lottery, since before I even knew the game had started. I texted Eula. They're at my house, planning, have forged medical records. What do I do? Her response came fast. Get home, face them, but say nothing that sounds paranoid. You're being recorded. I drove home, saw 3 cars in my driveway, considered turning around, didn't. Parked, walked up my porch steps, unlocked my own door. They sat in formation, Pierce on the couch, Fern in the chair, Austin by the window with his phone, blocking exits. Hosea, Pierce stood. Sit down, please. This is my house. Of course it is. We're just worried. After that email? What email? I made my voice uncertain, confused, trying to recover. Pierce pulled out his phone, read aloud my words, my mistake, then looked up. There is no Reynolds law firm in Portland. I was considering options. You're accusing us of something? What? I looked at each of them. Fern wouldn't meet my eyes. Austin filmed from chest level, red recording dot visible across the room. Pierce's jaw was set like concrete. I'm not accusing anyone. Then why the threatening email? Fern's voice cracked. Real tears now. Or good performance. Hard to tell. Dad, we're trying to help you. After what happened at the cafe? What happened? Tell me your version. You got confused, mixed up our drinks. I ended up in the hospital. It was an accident. But you're making it into some conspiracy. Pierce pulled out the manila folder, set it on my coffee table like evidence in a trial. Hosea, we need to talk about your health. Dr. Westbrook documented increasing confusion 6 months ago. Memory issues, paranoid ideation. I don't have a Dr. Westbrook. You saw him in September for cognitive assessment. He opened the folder, showed me papers with official letterhead, Westbrook's signature at the bottom. And now this email, the accusations, Fern's poisoning. We think you need support. I looked at the forged documents, at the signatures I knew were fake, at the 3 people who'd orchestrated this. You're saying I'm losing my mind. We're saying you need help. Fern leaned forward, mascara running now. We love you. We want to support you, but you have to let us. Austin filmed it all. The concerned family, the confused old man, the intervention. My legs gave out. I sat down hard in my own chair. They'd won this round. They'd won it before I'd even known we were fighting. My phone buzzed under the table. Text from Eula. Don't say anything that sounds paranoid. Don't mention cameras. Don't accuse them. You're being recorded. I type back. They're building incompetency case. I know. Play along for now. We'll counter it. Do you trust me? I looked at Pierce's satisfied smile, at Fern's tears, at Austin's phone. Typed, do I have a choice? No, but you taught me to always have evidence, and we do. They just don't know it yet. They left at 7:15, Pierce's hand on Fern's back. Austin trailing behind, phone finally down. The manila folder sat on my coffee table. Pierce had left it deliberately. I opened it, read every lie, photographed every page, sent them to Eula with one text. "How do we fight this?" Her response, very carefully, "Tomorrow." My phone buzzed. Unknown number again. "You're making this harder than it needs to be, Hosea. Sign over power of attorney. We'll take care of everything. You'll be comfortable, safe. Why fight us?" I typed, "Because I'm not done yet." Deleted it. Typed, "You're right. I'm tired. Let's talk tomorrow." Sent it. Forwarded the whole conversation to Eula. If they wanted the tired, defeated old man, I'd play it. But this time, I wouldn't forget the cameras, the recordings, the evidence. The best way to beat a poison is to build immunity slowly. And I'd been exposed to their poison for 38 years. It was time to develop an antidote. I arrived at their house at 5:30. West Hills neighborhood, the kind where every lawn was professionally maintained and every car was worth more than my first house. Pierce and Fern lived in a modern monstrosity of glass and steel that screamed, "We have money we didn't earn." I carried a bakery box from Pearl Bakery, flowers. A bottle of wine I'd bought specifically because it was expensive enough to impress them. The confused, apologetic grandfather coming to make peace. Fern opened the door. Surprise flickered across her face. "Dad?" I felt terrible about the other night. I held up the offerings. "Thought I'd bring a peace offering, if that's okay?" She looked over her shoulder. Pierce appeared behind her, tie loosened, drink in hand. His eyes narrowed, then relaxed, calculation happening fast. "Hosea, come in, of course." The inside was all white furniture and sharp edges. Everything looked expensive and uncomfortable. I set the bakery box on their granite counter, the flowers in a vase Fern produced, pulled out chairs at their dining table that was more art installation than furniture. Dinner was chicken again, seemed to be their default. Pierce poured wine with ceremony, explained it was a Pinot Noir, like I might not know what red wine was. "Red for chicken," I said slowly. "White for buildings?" Fern choked on her drink. Pierce closed his eyes for a long moment. I'd spent 40 years teaching graduate students about chemical compounds. Apparently, I couldn't grasp wine colors. Austin arrived halfway through, gave me an awkward hug, sat at the table with his phone out, barely looking up. I performed perfectly. Forgot Pierce's name twice, called him Patrick, then Peter. Told a rambling story about confusing 1985 with 2005 that went nowhere. Spilled wine on my shirt. Asked Austin about college. "Grandpa, I dropped out, remember?" Austin's face was red. Oh, right." I dabbed at the wine stain with my napkin, made it worse. "What was your major again?" "Computer science." "Wonderful field. I had a computer once." I demonstrated clicking motions in the air. Little arrow never went where I wanted. Pierce and Fern exchanged a look, victory in their eyes. Austin just looked miserable. I watched everything while pretending not to. Pierce's hand on Fern's wrist under the table when she reached for the wine bottle, gripped tight enough to leave marks. Austin's knee bouncing continuously. Fern's makeup heavier than necessary, covering something. Stress, bruises. At 9 p.m., I made my exit, patted my pockets at the door. "Oh dear, where's my—" I had my phone. Fern found it on the kitchen counter. Old flip phone, the kind nobody made anymore. I'd bought it 3 days ago, specifically because it looked ancient. Cost $40 plus another $200 for Eula's bug installation. "Here, Dad." I reached for it, dropped my car keys instead, bent slowly to pick them up, every movement deliberate. Old man, tired, confused. "Actually, you know what? I never use that thing anyway. Can you hold on to it? I'll pick it up next week." Austin picked it up, looked at it like it was a museum piece. "Grandpa, this thing is ancient. It doesn't even have apps." "Perfect for me then. I can't figure out apps." I smiled vaguely. "Just keep it safe?" Pierce nodded. "Sure, Hosea, no problem." I drove home, checked my laptop. The bug was transmitting perfectly. At 11 p.m., I put on headphones, opened the monitoring software. Pierce's voice came through clear. "He's finally broken. Did you see him tonight?" Asking about Austin's major. "I still think—" Fern sounded uncertain. "You still think what? That he's secretly brilliant? He spilled wine on himself, Fern. Guy taught toxicology at Portland State for 40 years. Now he can't remember we're eating chicken." Dad was always meticulous. Was, past tense. Sound of papers rustling. I'm filing the guardianship petition March 31st. That's 7 days. Dr. Westbrook already signed. I've got Chen and Alvarez lined up. My pen stopped on my notepad. 7 days. March 31st. Austin's voice, quieter. What if the court interviews him? They will, and he'll fail every test. Can't remember what year it is. Can't remember his daughter tried to. Pierce stopped. Silence stretched. Say it. Fern's voice was hard. Tried to kill him. It was an accident. We both know it wasn't. Her voice broke. Pierce, I can't. Yes, you can. Torres doesn't accept late payments. You want to keep your kneecaps? You owe him $40,000. My hand tightened on the pen. Torres. A name. Finally. Once we get guardianship, Austin moves the money in stages. 6 weeks, maybe 8. Small transfers. Nothing that flags the system. I can do it? Austin's voice was small. Good, because if you can't, we're all finished. Your mother loses her legs. I go to prison. You're a dropout with a record. We're in this together. What about Grandpa? Pierce laughed. Cold, clinical. What about him? Gresham Memory Care is actually nice. Clean sheets, medication schedule. He won't know the difference. He's Mom's father. He's an obstacle with $6 million. Obstacles get removed. I took off the headphones, set them down carefully. My hands didn't shake. Years of lab work taught you steady hands. But something in my chest felt different, colder. They weren't desperate people making mistakes. They were efficient criminals executing a plan. I recorded everything, made 4 backups, laptop, external drive, cloud, email, labeled each March 24th, insurance policy. At 2:47 a.m., I called Eula. She answered immediately. Please tell me you got something. Complete confession, financial breakdown, timeline, everything. Send it now. Already sent. I pulled up my notes, pages of precise handwriting. They're filing guardianship March 31st. Before that happens, I need 3 things. I'm listening. First, everyone Pierce defrauded with medical forgeries. Names, amounts, willingness to testify. I've got 12 names already. They don't know their victims yet. Tell them. Second, Fern's loan shark, Marcus Torres. I need his contact information. Pause. Hosea, I'm not going to hurt anyone, but Torres should know his debtor is about to declare bankruptcy after getting lottery money. Might make him impatient. That's cold. That's chemistry. Third, Dr. Westbrook. License number, practice address, what Pierce has on him. OxyContin overprescribing. I'll document it. Send it to the medical board when I say. And Eula, prepare everything on Pierce's research theft, his insurance fraud, all of it. What's the end game? I looked at my poison bottles, picked up the aconitum, set it down. In toxicology, there's LD50, lethal dose that kills 50%. But there's another measurement, chronic toxicity, small doses over time, non-lethal but devastating. Meaning, I'm not going to kill their lives all at once. I'm going to poison them slowly, one small dose at a time, until there's nothing left. My phone rang at 7:15 a.m. Unknown number, I answered. Mr. Garrett, male voice, rough edges. Marcus Torres, I think we should talk about your daughter's debt. I set down my coffee, put the phone on speaker. I don't know any Torres, but I know you. $6 million lottery win. Congratulations. Thank you. Your daughter owes me $40,000, due April 1st, 6 days from now. I can't help with Fern's debts. Can't or won't. His voice stayed pleasant, conversational, worse than threats. I heard something interesting. Your family's working on accessing your money, power of attorney, guardianship, something like that. My hand tightened. Where did you hear that? I keep informed about my investments. Fern's my investment. $40,000 at 30% interest. That's not a loan, that's a partnership. What do you want? Nothing. Yet. Just introducing myself. In case you were thinking about helping family, because if they suddenly have money and I don't get paid, that would disappoint me. I'm being declared mentally incompetent, he laughed. Interesting defense, but you don't sound incompetent. You sound like a man who knows exactly what's happening. Good luck, Mr. Garrett. The line went dead. I stared at my phone. April 1st. 1 day after the guardianship filing. Not coincidence. I spent that afternoon in my home lab, converted spare bedroom with equipment I'd kept from teaching days. digital scale, beakers, compounds I'd collected over decades. I made 3 gifts. For Fern. Expensive hand cream mixed with botanical extract. Nothing dangerous, just irritating. Would cause mild rash, itching, uncomfortable but harmless. For Pierce, artisan soap with a compound that increased perspiration. He'd sweat more, simple chemistry. For Austin, energy drinks with magnesium citrate. Would make bathroom trips frequent and urgent. I labeled each one carefully, printed fancy labels on my computer. Made with love, Dad. That evening, I brought them over. Gift baskets with ribbons. Pierce answered the door. Surprise, then suspicion, then acceptance. They thought I was broken. I felt terrible about the wine spill, brought peace offerings. They accepted gratefully. Fern hugged me. Austin took his energy drinks with thanks. I left after 10 minutes, sat in my car down the street, watched through their window as they opened the packages, excited like children on birthdays. Over the next 24 hours, Eula reported back. Pierce changed shirts twice during morning meetings, sweating through expensive fabric. A coworker took a photo. By lunch, it was a meme in the company Slack channel. Fern scratched her hands constantly during phone calls, threw the cream away, but the rash persisted. Austin's roommate asked if he was sick. 3rd bathroom trip in an hour, small doses, chronic toxicity, nothing traceable, everything uncomfortable. Wednesday afternoon, Eula spread documents across her desk, more than before, color-coded tabs everywhere. It's bigger than we thought. She tapped her pen on papers. Pierce didn't just forge a few documents, systematic insurance fraud, 15 patients, 18 months, $340,000. That's federal. Multiple felonies, wire fraud, insurance fraud, forgery. We're looking at 20 years. And Fern? Eula pulled up a timeline. Started gambling 2 years ago. But look at who introduced her to private poker games. Works for Pierce's startup, the one that failed. I studied the dates. He weaponized her addiction. Every time Pierce got desperate, Fern lost more money. Her first big loss, 2 weeks after his startup funding collapsed. Second loss, week after Caldwell Pharma started investigating him. He needed her in debt, needed leverage. And Austin? Credit card fraud, 7 victims from Oregon State, 15,000 stolen, federal computer crime, 5 years if prosecuted. I looked at all the evidence, years of manipulation. How do we burn him? We let him burn himself. Send this to Caldwell Pharma. They fire him immediately. Medical board gets the forgery evidence. Insurance investigators get fraud documentation. When he's arrested, guardianship petition dies. Court won't grant guardianship to someone facing federal charges. Timeline? Send tomorrow morning. Caldwell acts within hours. Medical board takes a week. Insurance investigators maybe 2 weeks. But Pierce knows tomorrow, and he panics. Good. She looked at me seriously. This ends his career, his freedom, his life. You sure? I thought about the recording, my daughter laughing about manipulating me. Never been more sure. That evening, Fern called, asked to meet, just us. The old Apothecary and Pearl District, building I still owned but rented out. Could I meet her there? I arrived at 5 p.m., used my key. Dust motes floated in afternoon light. Old jars still lined shelves, empty now, decorative. Fern walked in looking smaller than I remembered. I haven't been here in 16 years. You asked for $3,000, rent money. I gave it to you. She flinched. I paid you back. 8 months later, I pulled photos from an envelope, old Polaroids, little Fern in oversized safety goggles. You wanted to be a chemist, so I made you this lab coat. She took the photo, hands trembling. I remember feeling so important, like a real scientist. You were brilliant. You understood compounds before kids twice your age. And now I can't even balance my bank account. She slid down the wall, sat on dusty floor. Real tears now. Had to be real. I got lost, Dad. Started so small. A poker game with Pierce's friends. I won $300. Felt amazing. Then I was losing, borrowing. Then I was so deep I couldn't see the surface. I knelt next to her. My knees cracked. What happened to you? Pierce said he could fix it. Said we could fix it together. She looked at me, mascara running. What kind of person tries to poison her own father? A desperate one. I'm so sorry. She grabbed my hands. I can fix this. I'll testify. Tell police everything. Pierce, the plan, all of it. I looked at her hands holding mine, remembered when they were tiny. You'll really testify? I swear, on Mom's memory, I'll stop this. I pulled her into a hug. She cried against my shoulder. It's okay. We can fix this. Together. For 10 minutes I believed her. I drove home, made dinner. The laptop beeped, motion-activated recording from the bug. Fern's voice. Pierce, we have a problem. What kind? Dad knows something. Asked directly about the poisoning. Took me to the old apothecary. Showed me photos. Guilt trip? Major guilt trip. But Pierce, he's not confused. Not like we thought. He was testing me. My hands stopped moving. Does he know the full plan? Pierce asked. I don't know, but we can't wait until the 31st. We need to file tomorrow. Can't. Don't have 3 signatures yet? We need Alvarez. Then get it faster. Did you convince him you're on his side? Fern laughed. Actually laughed. I think so. Those tears were exhausting. I should have been an actress. You are an actress. What did you tell him? That I'd testify against you, that I wanted to fix things. And he bought it? He hugged me, Pierce. Bought it completely. Good. Keep him emotional. Emotional people make mistakes. I took off the headphones. The pot on the stove boiled over. Steam everywhere. Played it again. I should have been an actress. Again. Bought it completely. I turned off the stove, looked at the photo on my desk. Little Fern in her lab coat, smiling. That person didn't exist anymore. Maybe she never had. I opened my laptop. Found the email I'd drafted to Caldwell Pharma Compliance. Added all evidence, research theft, insurance fraud, medical forgeries, corporate espionage. Subject, employee Pierce Caldwell. Criminal activity requiring immediate termination and legal action. Clicked send. Forwarded everything to Oregon Medical Board. Insurance fraud investigators, Oregon State Campus Police. 4 emails, 2 minutes. My phone rang. Eula. Fern just called Pierce. They know you're not confused. I know. I heard. The bug's still active? Was. Battery died. But I heard enough. What do you want to do? I looked at my sent folder. 4 emails. All sent. Read receipts showing. Already did it. Sent everything. Silence. Hosea. That's nuclear. That's justice. My daughter just manipulated me one more time. Cried in my arms, swore she'd testify, then called her husband and laughed about it. Oh, Hosea. I'm done with small doses. Consequences will be immediate. Tomorrow morning, Pierce gets fired. Medical board investigates. Insurance launches federal inquiry. Austin gets arrested. This destroys all 3. I know. You're okay with that? I looked at the photo. Little Fern, innocent and smiling. That person doesn't exist anymore. Maybe she never did. March 27th, 8:47 a.m. My phone lit up with monitoring alerts. Pierce to Fern. Check your email, now. Fern. I'm at yoga. Pierce. Fuck yoga. Caldwell HR wants to see me in 30 minutes. 9:34 a.m. Pierce. I'm fired. Criminal charges. Corporate espionage. Someone told them. Fern. Oh God. Pierce. Someone gave them evidence. Too detailed to be coincidence. Fern. You don't think, Dad? Pierce. The confused old man who just hired an investigator? Yeah, I think Dad. I screenshot each message, added them to evidence folders, poured coffee, waited. 2:47 p.m. My doorbell rang, pounded, rang again. I looked through the window, all 3 of them on my porch. Pierce's face was red, Fern crying, real tears this time. Austin looked terrified. Hosea, open this door! I stepped back, watched from the side. You destroyed my career. You sent files to Caldwell. He's not senile. Fern's voice was flat, dead. He never was. It was all an act. What? The timing, the evidence, the investigator. He's been playing us since the coffee shop. Maybe before. Silence. Austin's small voice. Grandpa knows about the credit cards? Honey. Fern's laugh was broken glass. Grandpa knows everything. More pounding. I stood in my dark hallway, waited. Email from Eula. Campus police arrested Austin. Pierce under criminal investigation. Medical board suspended 3 doctors. Insurance opened federal case. Outside, Pierce was screaming, making threats. Fern had stopped crying. just stared at my door with empty eyes. My phone rang. Unknown number. Mr. Garrett, Marcus Torres again. His voice was amused. Interesting day? How did you... I keep informed. Your daughter still owes me $40,000, but her husband just lost his job. You destroyed their finances. April 1st is coming fast. I'm not giving you money. I'm not asking for yours. I'm offering information about your daughter's gambling, where it started, who introduced her, and why. Why would you tell me? Because I don't like being used. Pierce Caldwell used your daughter and me as tools. I don't appreciate that. So here's the deal. Help me get my money from Fern's lottery portion, which you control, and I'll help you understand how long this conspiracy's been running, and who else is involved. Who else? That's the question. Meet me tomorrow, 10 a.m., Cathedral Park, St. John's Bridge. Come alone. He hung up. Fern stood alone on my porch now, staring at my door. She mouthed 2 words. I'm sorry. Then walked away. My phone buzzed. Text from Torres. Your daughter's been gambling 5 years, not 2. But Pierce didn't introduce her to it. She introduced him. Think about what that means. 5 years, 3 years before the lottery. What if I'd had this backwards? What if Fern wasn't Pierce's victim? What if Pierce was hers? The process server arrived at 9:15 a.m. Young woman, professional, holding an envelope like it might explode. Hosea Garrett, you've been served. Guardianship proceedings. My hand shook taking it. Real tremor this time. First genuine sign of stress breaking through. I opened it standing in my doorway. Emergency petition for guardianship. Pierce Caldwell, petitioner. Citing acute mental deterioration. Supporting evidence, 3 doctors, video documentation, sworn testimony from loving daughter. Court hearing, April 11th. 14 days. I closed the door, slid down to sit on my hallway floor. My own floor. In my own house that might not be mine much longer. Called Cornelia Rhodes at 9:30. Attorney, 67. We'd met at civil rights protests in the 80s, stayed friends through decades. If anyone could save me, she could. Her office at 11, documents spread across the conference table, red pen marks everywhere. They played this well, Hosea. She tapped Dr. Westbrook's signature. See this? Dated March 15th, the day of the cafe incident. They had paperwork ready before the poisoning. Premeditation. Yes, but it helps them, not us. Shows ongoing concerns about your capacity. She looked at me seriously. Are you actually okay? Really? I'm fighting for my life against my own family. How okay should I be? Fair point. She flipped pages. 3 medical professionals. Video of you acting confused. Your daughter's testimony. And this, she held up the fake lawyer email from part 4. The email you sent pretending to be Reynolds' law firm. Hosea, this looks like paranoid delusion. It was strategy. To a judge, it's evidence of incompetence. Can they win? She took off her reading glasses. 40 years of friendship meant she didn't lie. Yes, they can win. Even with my recordings, my evidence, listen to yourself. Secret recordings of family. Investigating them. Fake lawyer emails. Blog posts about poisoning. Reporting your son-in-law for fraud to a judge. Textbook paranoid delusions. So what do? We fight. Get our own medical evaluation. Challenge their doctors, especially if they're involved in Pierce's fraud. Expose financial motives. But Hosea? She paused. We might lose. Prepare for that. If they get guardianship, they control everything. Money, healthcare, where you live, everything. I looked out her window. Portland skyline, bridges, my city. Then I can't lose. No, you can't. So let's make sure we don't. I went home, couldn't sleep. At 2 a.m., sat at my computer with every toxicology textbook I owned, started writing. Simulating poisoning for insurance fraud, a case study. Technical, precise, clinical. Described exact drug combination, zolpidem plus cyclobenzaprine. Effects, symptoms, forensic markers. How someone could fake being poisoned for insurance claims or sympathy. Hypothetical scenario that mirrored Fern's hospitalization exactly. I reread it 3 times, checked dosages against medical literature, made sure every word was defensible, pure science, no accusations, just implications. Hovered over publish on my toxicology blog. 3,200 followers, mostly medical professionals and former students. Clicked. Went to bed, still couldn't sleep. By noon, 50 views. By evening, 200. By midnight, 847. Next morning, 2,300 views. Comments rolling in. This is oddly specific. Brilliant analysis of fraud mechanisms. Should forward to insurance investigators. One comment from Providence Portland Medical Center. Wait, we had this exact case last week. Shared 4,700 times by that evening. LinkedIn exploding. Forensic toxicology forums discussing it. Pharmaceutical fraud blogs picking it up. My phone rang. Unknown number. Mr. Garrett, this is Detective Chen, Insurance Fraud Division. We received an anonymous tip with audio recordings. Pharmaceutical employee Pierce Caldwell discussing systematic fraud. 15 patients, $340,000. The recordings reference drugs matching your recent blog post. We're opening an investigation. I'd sent the recordings at 3 a.m. Anonymous email, professional VPN, untraceable. I hope you find what you're looking for, I said. We already are. Thank you for your academic contribution to the field. She hung up. I sat at my kitchen table, poured coffee, watched the sun come up. They were panicking now. I could feel it. March 29th, evening, routine financial check before court. Open my retirement account online. Balance, $2,147,392 should be $2,297,392, missing $50,000. I refreshed, same number. Open transaction history, wire transfer, March 28th, 2:47 a.m. to offshore account, Cayman Islands. Authorization, my digital signature. I checked the computer log they'd emailed. Command line history, transfer money Cayman, wait no cancel, where grandson, help me banking, transfer now. Timestamps, 2:47 a.m., 3:12 a.m., 3:34 a.m. I was asleep at 2:47 a.m. My computer was off. This was brilliant. This was perfect. This looked exactly like confused elderly person making dangerous financial decisions. Austin was an amateur hacker. He was professional. I called the bank, got transferred 3 times, finally reached fraud department. Mr. Garrett, we've seen this before with elderly clients experiencing cognitive decline. The erratic patterns, confused searches, late-night transfers. We are required to report this activity. You reported me? To Adult Protective Services. Yes, yesterday. For your protection. Who has access to that report? It's shared with relevant parties. If there are legal proceedings regarding your financial capacity, courts typically request it. Of course they would. That was the point. I hung up, pulled up Austin's LinkedIn profile. Something I should have done weeks ago. Skills, Python, SQL, network security, ethical hacking certification. My grandson wasn't bumbling kid. He was trained cyber criminal. I sat in my car outside Cornelia's office for 20 minutes. Engine off, phone in hand, should call her, tell her about the hack. But then what? Admit someone stole $50,000 while I slept? Admit I didn't notice for 36 hours? Every explanation made me sound more exactly what they claimed. Started the car, drove home, didn't call. That night, 2 a.m. again. Couldn't sleep again. Called Felix. Hosea, what's wrong? They hacked my account, stole $50,000, left a trail that makes me look senile. Silence. Then, can you prove it was a hack? Austin's a trained cybersecurity expert, professional certifications. The kid's not amateur. So he's smarter than you thought. Everyone's smarter than I thought. I looked at my poison bottles. Felix, what if I can't win? What if they actually lock me away? You'll win. How do you know? Because you're Hosea Garrett. You don't lose to some kid with laptop and forged documents. I might. Then you'll lose fighting. But Hosea, I've known you since 1987. You don't give up. You don't back down. I'm tired, Felix. Really tired. I look in mirror and see what they claim I am. Old, confused, vulnerable. That's what war looks like. Doesn't mean you've lost. Fight smarter. How? That's the question, isn't it? You're a scientist. Scientists adjust variables and try again. After we hung up, I sat in darkness. Austin was the variable I'd underestimated. Time to adjust. My laptop beeped. Bug recording from their house. Battery finally died, but got one last transmission. Fern's voice shrill. He named the exact drugs, posted it online, everyone can see. Did he name you? No, but my doctors can connect it. He's documenting what I did without saying it. Pierce. The son of a bitch isn't confused at all. I told you. Shut up, Fern. Pause. Austin's hack worked. Bank reported him. We've got evidence. The blog post helps. Looks like paranoid obsession. We bury him in his own evidence. What if he has more? Your dad is 70. He's alone. In 2 weeks, he's ours. Recording ended. I stared at my reflection in the dark screen. Was I paranoid? I had recordings of them plotting. But that was real. Was I confused? I'd missed $50,000 theft. But that was sophisticated hacking, wasn't it? Was I obsessed? I'd written detailed blog posts, but that was strategy, right? No. They were the poisoners, the frauds, the thieves. I was just the target who refused to die quietly. But I was tired of fighting. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. Mr. Garrett, Marcus Torres, saw your blog post. Interesting reading. We still need to meet. Cathedral Park, tomorrow, 10 a.m. I have information you need. I'm not meeting strange men in parks. Even strange men who know why your daughter started gambling 5 years ago. And who encouraged it. And who has evidence that changes everything. What evidence? Tomorrow, 10 a.m.? I stared at the message, didn't respond immediately. Finally typed, Fine, 10 a.m., come alone. Same to you. And Mr. Garrett, bring an open mind. You're going to need it. April 1st. 5 days before the court hearing. I called them that morning, all three, conference call. I'm tired of fighting, want to make peace, discuss the power of attorney. Can we have dinner, my house, tonight? Silence. Then Pierce. Why the sudden change? I'm exhausted. I'm 70. Maybe you're right. Maybe I do need help. More silence. I could hear them thinking, calculating. Was this trap? 6 p.m., Fern said finally. We'll be there. I spent the afternoon preparing, set the table with my wedding china, folded napkins precisely, tested the projector 3 times, arranged documents in perfect stacks. This was theater, performance, every detail mattered, made coffee for each of them, their exact orders, Fern's vanilla latte, Pierce's dark roast from Stumptown, Austin's cold brew, spent an hour getting it perfect. They arrived at 6:30, together, united front, Pierce first, Fern behind, Austin trailing, military formation. They chose seats by doors, subconscious defensive positioning. I served dinner, small talk, tension thick enough to cut, then coffee. I brought cups on tray, set each down with precise placement. Pierce, dark roast, your favorite. Fern, vanilla latte, extra foam. Austin, cold brew. They stared at the cups, didn't touch them. They're just coffee. I picked up mine, drank deeply. See? Safe. Slowly, cautiously, they drank. 5 minutes passed. Normal conversation about weather, traffic, nothing. Then I set down my cup. By the way, I should mention, I added something to your coffee. 3 faces went white. Fern's cup clattered. What? Same thing you added to mine at barista, remember? Pierce stood fast, chair scraped. What did you put in here? Austin grabbed his throat. Am I dying? Oh God. I laughed. Couldn't help it. Look at you, all 3, immediate panic. You didn't question it, just assumed I'd poison you. What did you put in the coffee? Nothing. Decaf instead of regular for Pierce? You're hypertensive. Oat milk for Austin, lactose intolerant. But poison? No, just placebos. Silence. You're messing with us, Pierce said. I'm demonstrating. Look at your reactions. You believed it instantly. Why? Because you know you'd do it. Because you already did. That's the experiment. Not what I put in coffee, what you revealed by thinking I did. Austin was crying. I thought I was dying. You thought wrong, but that fear, remember it. Because that's what you did to me. I turned on the projector. First slide appeared on the wall. A case study in family betrayal. A 3-week experiment in human toxicity. What is this? Pierce demanded. My presentation. Please hold questions until end. Next slide. March 15th. Initial poisoning attempt. Subject, Hosea Garrett. Toxin, zolpidem, and cyclobenzaprine. Delivered by daughter. Fern stood. Dad, Sit down. She sat. Next slide. Audio waveform. I clicked play. Their voices filled my living room. Pierce, use his profession against him. Fern, memory care place. Austin, transfer money in stages. 30 seconds, stopped it. I have 4 hours of this. Pierce's face went red. You recorded us? In my home, where you broke in, which is trespass, while committing conspiracy, attempted murder, theft, which is evidence. Slide after slide, their debts, their plans, their crimes, documented, systematic, complete. Final slide, evidence distribution, sent to FBI, Medical Board, Insurance Fraud Division, Campus Police. Status, all investigations active. Estimated charges, 18 felonies across 3 defendants. Lights up, projector off. Questions? Pierce was shaking. You're going to pay for this. I already paid, $6 million, which you tried to steal. I'm collecting interest. We're still filing guardianship. You're facing federal charges. Court won't grant guardianship to criminals. Fern's voice broken. We're your family. No, you're my attempted murderers who share DNA. Family doesn't poison. You're strangers wearing familiar faces. Austin. Grandpa, please, don't call me that. You lost that when you hacked my accounts. Now you're Austin Caldwell, defendant, stranger. Pierce lunged for the laptop, grabbed it, raised it like he'd smash it. I stepped back calmly. That's copy number 4. I have 6. Destroy it. He froze, set it down slowly. Fern slid from chair to floor, sobbing. Dad, please, I'm sick. I need help, not prison. Reached for my leg. I stepped back. You needed help 5 years ago. You need consequences now. She crumpled. Austin broke. They said it would just make you sleepy. I didn't know about killing, I swear. Pierce grabbed him. Shut up! Austin. No, I'm not going to prison for murder. They have another plan. After court. They were going to... Pierce dragged him toward the door. They stumbled out, arguing in the driveway. Pierce shoved Fern. They drove away, taillights disappearing. I stood in my empty house, found Fern's purse by the chair. She'd forgotten it. Opened it, wallet, keys, lipstick, pills. Checked the label, digoxin, not Fern's prescription. Found her diary underneath, sat at the table, started reading, at first just scanning, then slower. F says, F provided, F planned. Kept reading, 6 months back, 1 year, 2 years, 5 years ago. F says Mom's death is opportunity. I stopped breathing, reread it, continued. F introduced me to Torres. F suggested Pierce use Caldwell research. F provided the pills for Dad. F says we need final option. Plan B, he provided digoxin. Every entry, every plan, every crime, attributed to F. Finally found the full name near the end. Felix called today, said Dad has to die. There's no other option. We've come too far. I closed the diary carefully. Walked to bathroom, vomited, came back, read again to be sure. Felix, my friend for 40 years. Felix who installed my security cameras. Felix who encouraged me to fight. Felix who had access to everything. I opened my laptop, searched my own will, filed 2019 after my wife died. Beneficiaries, Fern, 40%. Alonzo, 40%. Felix Hammond, 20%. 20% of 6 million. 1.2 million. Found the secondary provision, emergency clause. In event primary beneficiaries unable or unwilling to accept inheritance, all assets transfer to secondary beneficiary, Felix Hammond. Dated 2019. I'd signed it. Felix witnessed it. Felix wrote it. If both my children were disqualified, incarcerated, convicted, Felix inherited everything. He hadn't been helping me fight them. He'd been helping them destroy themselves, so he could collect. 5 years. Patient. Cultivating Fern's gambling. Guiding Pierce's fraud. Positioning Austin's hacking. Creating 3 criminals who'd try to kill me, fail, go to prison. Leaving Felix as sole beneficiary. My phone rang. His name on screen. I stared at it. Let it ring. Voicemail. Hosea, it's Felix. Checking in. How'd dinner go? We should celebrate. You're winning. Call me. The cheerful voice of a man who'd orchestrated my murder for 5 years. I picked up the digoxin bottle from Fern's purse. Lethal dose, 5 to 10 milligrams. This bottle held 30, more than enough. Felix's final contingency. His gift to Fern. Set it down carefully. Thought about poisons. About chronic exposure and acute doses. About friends who aren't friends. About how the deadliest poison is the one you never see coming. The one delivered by someone you trust. My phone buzzed. Text from Torres. I assume you've read the diary by now. I have more. Meet me tomorrow, same place. 10 a.m., bring it. And Mr. Garrett, don't tell Felix you know. Let him think his plan is working. The hunter who doesn't know he's prey is easier to catch. I stared at my phone for 20 minutes, then pulled out my wife's old journal from the safe. From 5 years ago. Her handwriting, hospital bed. Hosea, if something happens to me, watch out for F, not Fern. F. They're not what they seem. They have plans, dark plans. Please be careful. Please protect yourself. I should have told you sooner. I'm sorry. She died 2 days later. I thought she was confused from medication. She wasn't confused. She was warning me about Felix, about the person who'd planned everything. I sat in darkness until dawn came. Everything I thought I knew was wrong. My family tried to kill me, but my friend made them do it, and I'd trusted him with everything. April 4th, 8:47 a.m., Multnomah County Courthouse. I walked in with Cornelia, family already seated, territorial positioning. Pierce in expensive suit he couldn't afford, Fern in conservative dress, minimal makeup, Austin in back row trying to disappear. I sat at defendant's table. The irony wasn't lost on me. Defending myself against being declared incompetent by people who'd tried to kill me. I opened my briefcase methodically, documents organized by colored tabs, hands steady now. Not from confidence, from exhaustion, too deep for trembling. Pierce's attorney went first. Slick presentation, PowerPoint slides. Clear pattern of cognitive decline, erratic behavior, dangerous financial decisions. They had evidence. 3 doctors, Fern's tearful testimony, Austin's videos, bank report about the $50,000 offshore transfer, my fake lawyer email from part 4. It looked bad. From their perspective, it looked airtight. Then Cornelia stood. Your Honor, Pierce Caldwell's attorney has painted a picture of concerned family protecting elderly father. I'm going to show you attempted murder. Pierce's attorney objected. This is guardianship proceeding. Not yet, Cornelia cut him off. But it will be criminal trial, because what I'm about to present isn't just evidence of competence. It's evidence of conspiracy to commit murder. Judge Morrison leaned forward. That's serious accusation. I have serious evidence, security footage, audio recordings, financial documents, diary entries planning my client's death, and prescription bottle containing enough cardiac medication to kill him 3 times over. Silence. Proceed, the judge said quietly. Cornelia systematically destroyed them. Security camera footage showing them breaking into my house, planning, searching, audio recordings of their conspiracy. Pierce's voice. Use his profession against him. Fern. Memory care place in Gresham. Austin. Transfer money in stages. Trevor took the stand. Young waiter in ill-fitting suit. Nervous, but certain. I saw her pour something from a bottle into his coffee, then look around to make sure nobody noticed. I'm a toxicology student. I recognize suspicious behavior. Pierce's attorney tried. You were across the room, distracted. I was 3 feet away, refilling water. I saw everything. Trevor pointed at Fern. She did it. Fern's face crumbled. Eula Morton presented financial evidence. Pierce's insurance fraud. $340,000, 15 patients. Fern's gambling debts. Austin's credit card theft. Then came the bomb. Cornelia held up a small journal. This is Fern Caldwell's diary, recovered from her purse at Mr. Garrett's home, March 30th. Entry. Plan B, if guardianship fails, D in morning coffee. Looks like heart attack. Natural at his age. She set down the diary, placed prescription bottle on evidence table. Digoxin, 30 milligrams. Lethal dose is 5 to 10. This kills 3 people. Found in defendant's purse. Not prescribed to anyone. Obtained illegally for murder. Fern started crying. Real tears this time. fear, tears. Furthermore, retesting of the original cafe incident shows trace amounts of digoxin in addition to the sedatives. They weren't trying to sedate him, Your Honor. They were trying to kill him. The cardiac medication would have caused heart attack. At his age, would look natural. Gasps rippled through the courtroom. Austin stood up suddenly. Chair clattered backward. I didn't know about killing. I swear. They said it was just to make him sign papers. I didn't know about the heart medication. Pierce lunged. Shut up! No! I'm not going to prison for murder. I did the hacking, but I never agreed to this. Chaos. Judge banging gavel, bailiff restraining Pierce. Fern screaming at Austin to stop talking. Austin broke completely. I'm 19. I'm just a kid. They manipulated me. Judge Morrison removed her glasses, looked directly at Pierce and Fern. In 20 years on this bench, I thought I'd seen every variation of family dysfunction. But premeditated murder of one's own father for lottery money, with backup plans documented in writing? She shook her head. You disgust me. Petition denied. Bailiff, take them into custody. Arrest warrants for Pierce Caldwell and Fern Caldwell. Attempted murder, conspiracy, fraud, elder abuse. Pandemonium. Pierce tried to run. Bailiff tackled him. 5'6" officer taking down 6'2" executive. Pierce went down like wet cardboard. Fern reached toward me. Dad! Daddy, please! Tell them it's a misunderstanding. I stood, turned my back, complete, deliberate, final. She collapsed. Police caught her, dragged her away screaming. I didn't turn around, didn't flinch. Outside, media swarmed. Microphones, cameras, questions shouted. Mr. Garrett, how does it feel to survive your family's murder plot? I walked through silently. Cornelia running interference. One reporter got close. Sir, do you have anything to say? I stopped, looked directly at camera. Trust is the most powerful poison. Use it carefully. Continued walking, got in Cornelia's car. She drove. We sat in silence. Finally, you won. I looked out the window. Did I? Saw Felix standing across the street, watching. He waved, big supportive gesture. I didn't wave back. His smile faded. My phone rang. Felix. I answered on speaker. Cornelia listening. Hosea, I've been following the news. You did it. This is over. Is it? What do you mean? I mean, there's one more person who needs to answer for what they did. Pause. Who? We'll talk. Soon. But Felix, don't leave town. Hung up. Cornelia looked at me. What was that? Tying up loose ends. That evening, I met Torres at Cathedral Park again. Sat down on the bench, left 3 feet between us. I accept your deal. $47,000 for everything you have on Felix Hammond. He smiled, slid folder across. Smart choice. Contracts, recordings, photographs. 6 years of Felix orchestrating this. Why do you care? You're a criminal too. I'm a businessman. Simple transactions. What Felix did, manipulating a grieving daughter, using her addiction to destroy her father, that's personal. And I don't like amateurs giving professionals a bad name. He stood. Taking down family is hard. Taking down a friend, that's impossible for most people. I'm not most people. No, you're not. That's why I think you'll actually do it. I sat alone under the bridge, folder in my lap, watching the river. My family was arrested. My friend was next. I'd won. Felt like I'd lost everything. May 15th. 6 weeks later. Headlines I didn't need to read but saw anyway. Pharmaceutical executive sentenced to 22 years. Daughter who tried to poison. Father gets 18 years. Grandmother wins custody after parents imprisoned. Life moved on. Justice served. My life was different. Pierce got 22 years federal. FCI Sheridan. Wife divorced him 2 weeks in. House foreclosed. Everything gone. His mother visits once a month. Nobody else does. Fern got 18 years state prison. Oregon Women's Correctional. Lost custody of her 10-year-old permanently. My sister has her now in Eugene. Fern writes letters weekly. 7 so far. I've opened one. The rest sit in my kitchen drawer. Austin pleaded guilty. 3 years probation, 500 hours community service. Works at Portland Free Clinic now. Data entry, lives with his paternal grandmother. I sent him a $100,000 trust for education. Conditions attached, graduate, get job, stay clean, break any condition, money disappears. His grandmother said he cried when he got the terms. I haven't spoken to him. Maybe in 5 years, maybe never. Felix was arrested May 1st. 6-year conspiracy. Torres's evidence was comprehensive. Trial scheduled for October. Released on bail. Sits in his house alone now. Neighbors shun him. Former clients dropped him. Called me 17 times. I blocked his number. Sent a letter. I returned it unopened with a note. I don't owe murderers anything. The hospital reviewed my wife's charts. Found irregularities. Felix's visits coincided with unexplained medication errors. Nothing provable after 5 years. But enough for me to know. He killed her. Slowly. Patiently. Set up everything that followed. The DA can't prosecute without more evidence. But I know. And that has to be enough. I sold the Victorian house. Moved a small apartment in Pearl District. 1 bedroom, balcony overlooking the Willamette. My poison collection on a single shelf in the closet. Don't look at it much anymore. Started consulting. Free service for elderly people concerned about medication, interactions, or suspicious family behavior. Pro bono. Donated most of the lottery money. $3.9 million to create the Henderson Elder Protection Fund. My wife's maiden name. Helps people escape situations like mine. Gave $2 million to Alonzo. He flew in from New Zealand, stayed 2 weeks, begged me to come live with him. I declined. This is my city, my mess, I'll stay. We sat in the airport departures area before his flight. Come with me, Dad. New Zealand is beautiful. You'd love it. All my memories are here, good and bad. Can't run from them. We hugged. His eyes were wet. I love you. I know, son. Watched him disappear into security. Sat there another hour. Just sat. 3 weeks after the trial, a woman approached me in the grocery store. Hosea Garrett, I saw you on the news. Your family, I'm so sorry. I nodded, thanked her. My sister went through something similar, not murder, but exploitation. Your case made her realize she wasn't alone. She got help, filed charges. So, thank you. She walked away, left me in produce holding tomatoes. Someone was helped by my nightmare. Didn't know how to feel about that. Still don't. One morning, a letter arrived. Prison return address. Fern's handwriting. I opened it. Sat at my small kitchen table. Dad, I know you won't read this. I know I don't deserve forgiveness. But I need you to know I was sick. I am sick. I made terrible choices. I hurt you. I tried to kill you. There's no excuse. But somewhere, buried deep, your daughter still exists. The one who mixed compounds with you. She's still here. Buried. And I'm trying to find her again. You don't have to forgive me, but I needed to tell you. I'm sorry. And I love you. Even if you don't love me anymore. Fern. I read it twice. Sat for 20 minutes. Picked up the phone. Dialed the prison. I'd like to schedule a visit for Fern Caldwell. Got an appointment for June 3rd. Hung up. Immediately called back. Cancel that appointment. Took the letter. Filed it with the others in my kitchen drawer. 7 letters total. 6 unopened. 1 read. Closed the drawer. Couldn't answer. Not yet. Maybe not ever. This morning. Coffee on my balcony. Ethiopian blend. Made carefully. Precisely. Like always. Watching sunrise over the Willamette. St. John's Bridge visible in the distance. Beautiful city. My city. Phone rang. Unknown number. I still answer those. Professional habit. Mr. Garrett, Samantha Webb, representing Fern Caldwell. My client would like to meet with you before sentencing. She wants to apologize in person. I watched a boat pass under the bridge. Seagulls following. Long pause. Mr. Garrett, I'm here. Will you meet with her? The coffee in my hand was good. Bitter, but good. Tell her I died. Excuse me? Tell her Hosea Garrett died. In April, in that courtroom. Tell her the man she knew, her father, is gone. There's just me now, and I don't know her. Mr. Garrett, that's... Tell her exactly that, word for word. She'll understand. She loves you. She loved my money. There's a difference. I hung up, set down the phone, pulled small label from my pocket, handwritten, betrayal, deadliest of all. Looked at it, almost added it to my poison collection. Didn't. Crumpled it up, dropped it in my coffee cup, watched it sink, dissolve. Some poisons you don't collect. You just let them go. A younger man jogged past on the riverside path below. Reminded me of Alonzo, or Austin, or myself 50 years ago. Someone with future still ahead. I finished my coffee, bitter, but then again, coffee always is. You learn to appreciate it anyway. Behind me, my apartment was small, modest, nothing like the Victorian house, but it was mine, just mine. No ghosts, no family plotting, no friends betraying, just me. And honestly, after everything, that was enough. I went inside, opened my laptop. Email waiting. Dear Mr. Garrett, I'm worried about my son's access to my medication. I started typing. Life continued, small, quiet, mine, bitter but good. Alone but free. I'd won. Lost everything in the process, but I'd won. And I was learning to live with both truths, one cup of coffee at a time. If you liked this story, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share your impressions of this story in the comments. To listen to the next story, click on the box on the left. Thank you for watching.